governing body. I ran for the Tallahassee City Commission when I was 23 years old. I was a student at Florida A&M University at the time. Nobody in their right mind thought that we could win that race. I joke sometimes, including my mother, who did contribute. She gave me $20 toward my campaign and told me not to spend it all in one place. But she had really prepared me for fighting against all odds and really running for that office because of the way that I frankly saw her work hard and struggle to earn her place at every place that she was. Growing up, my mother drove a school bus down in Miami, which is where I was born, and my daddy worked construction down there. I'm one of 7 kids. I'm number 507, all boys and 1 girl, my baby sister. She's tough, don't try her. And the first of my family to graduate high school and the first to graduate college. And so for those of you who are first generation, I have a particular affinity for that because I know what it means, not only the source of pride that you bring to your family, but also the burden that you bring in the sense that folks are looking at you and they wish you well, but sometimes that can feel a little bit heavy. But there's nothing like it, and I couldn't thank more the teaching professionals that I encountered over the course of my youth, graduating from school in Gainesville, Florida, and then going on to Florida A&M University. It was loving and caring teaching professionals who told me I could, when everybody around me thought I couldn't, who opened up doors and windows, even if just slightly, just enough that I could get through. And it's those same teachers that are under attack in today's political climate, especially in this state, where we have increasingly turned over the public education system that is supposed to be the outlet that creates an opportunity to learn for all children, that is now becoming increasingly turned over to the private sector system that frankly benefits stockholders, benefits the private entities that run them. And the children, it seems, in my opinion, are being put further and further in the pecking order of priority. And that's certainly one of the things that I want to adjust, one of the things that I want to change in the state. And I actually want to begin the investments that we make in public education further and earlier than where we talk about it now. Today we typically talk about education from kindergarten to 12th grade. And we're increasingly addicted to high stakes testing, which again don't tell us what our kids know, but how well they take the test. When we know, based off science, that the best possible investment we can make, and that we should be making in the development of our young people is in the earliest possible years, 0 to 5. Over 90% of brain development happens between the ages of 0 and 5 over the course of human life. Our kids are literally sponges at that stage. Yet we do very, very little to create an affordable and accessible environment for early childhood education. And then at the point that you enter the K-12 system, we've got to unleash the talent of our students and the potential of our students and our teaching professionals to not teach to a test, but to design curriculums that help you get comprehension over the subject matter. And not just math and science. I'm a big fan of it. But the truth is that the world consists of a lot more than that. Let's start with civics, which is, in my opinion, increasingly under assault. And we wonder why our voting age participation and the participation in our democracy is frankly at an all-time low across this country. We've taken civics and people's orientation to the democratic process out of our education system. Our teachers in this state are among the lowest paid in the country. We spend nearly the least per pupil of any of the 50 states around the country, right? And we wonder why the education system in this state is in the condition that it's in, and that's principally at the K-12 system and the 0 to 5 system. But then when you get to the college system, we also have our share of challenges there. I mean, as the mayor of Tallahassee, Florida, I try to make it my goal to retain more of the talent that's coming through FAMU and FSU and through TCC, trying to retain that talent in my community. I want them to know that if you got a bright idea in innovation and invention, that you don't have to be on the first plane flying out to Palo Alto, California, in order to have that idea take shape in life. That you can do it right here in the state of Florida. But they don't hear that enough in the systems that create the opportunity for that to be facilitated in this state is really not in place, in large part because we have a governor that's committed to creating jobs that largely feed low-wage work and a low-wage industry. And if we're going to be the third largest state in all of America, of which we are, but if we're going to have the opportunity to retain really smart people in this state, to create jobs and to grow our economy, and grow it not just for low-wage work, but for work with dignity. You can work one job and earn enough to take care of yourself and your family. Whereas you don't have to work 2 and 3 jobs just to make ends meet. And guess what? Nearly half the people in this state say that they can't make ends meet at the end of the month. 45% of them who are working folks in Florida. That's a problem. And it's unsustainable for a state like ours. We ought to be leading on every single matrix that's out there. We've got the talent, we've got the diversity, we've got the potential. Now we need the leadership that has a North Star for the future of this state. And I believe that part of a North Star means investing in our public education system. And as I said before, from 0 to 5, and from kindergarten to 12th grade, and between the grades of 9th grade to 12th grade, that we have to reinstill trades and pipelines and apprenticeships back into our high school system. So that for those kids that are not on a pipeline to go to college, like you are doing and like I had the opportunity to do, that we shouldn't send them the signal that their life is over after graduation, because the only thing that's available to them is a low-wage job. We ought to equip them with the skills that they can monetize, go to work, get a good job, and earn a good wage for themselves and for their families. We used to have that in this state. That used to exist when I was matriculating in Florida. While college worked for me, for my older brothers, it was access to a skill that allowed them to go on and do good things for themselves and their families. As mayor of Tallahassee, we received one of the 50 designations through the Obama administration that is known as the Tech Hire Initiative, because of the work that we were doing to train the next generation of workers for the jobs that exist today. We often talk about tech jobs as jobs of tomorrow. I got news for y'all. In case you didn't know, those jobs are here. They exist right now. In my city, in cooperation with LinkedIn, we found that 550 jobs in the tech sector would advertise for on average between 10 and 12 months. Good jobs, right? But there was a gap between what the employer was looking for and the talent that the applicant was bringing. And we ought to close that talent gap. We ought to close that mismatch so that folks get the skills that they need to do the jobs that they need to do, that when we retain those companies in the state of Florida, and that their excuse for leaving here isn't that they can't find the talent to do the work. That should not be our problem. But unfortunately, we have, as a state, I think, shrunk from our opportunity moments. And we've had a lot of them. We've got a governor right now who says he's not a scientist and therefore can't say whether or not global warming and climate change is real. Never mind, on a non-rain day in Miami Beach, they're closing down city streets because of high tide, which is a natural occurrence. Think if we had a governor that not only leaned into the fact that sea level rise is real and understood the threat that it is presenting to people and to property, but created an industry out of what we can do in standing up to that challenge. What if we had a governor that said, you know what, we're the Sunshine State, and we're going to make it mean something. We're going to invest in solar energy. We're going to lead the nation and the world in what it means to move off of the non-renewable grid system into one that is powered by natural and renewable energy. Solar just being one option. While President Trump was withdrawing the United States from the Paris Accord, that very same week I was breaking ground as the mayor of the city of Tallahassee on a 120-acre solar farm, tripling the amount of solar energy that we produce in my community. We had an opportunity. President Obama tried to convince us on the merits of why we ought to extend Medicaid to the most medically needy people in the state of Florida. 1.5 million of them who don't have access to health care, sustainable health care that is less expensive and is maintenancing care so that folks don't end up in the emergency room. And what do we say? Never mind. You can take your money back. We don't believe in that. We don't believe in Obamacare. Right? So aside from the fact that I think it's wrong for any caring adult to refuse 1.5 million of their fellow Floridians access to health care, It's a double sin because that money got sent back to the federal government and redispersed to other states who did extend. What that's cost the state of Florida is $51 billion. Just $5 billion of it, $6 billion of it last year alone. Can you think of the number of doctors and nurses and nurse practitioners and technicians and the secondary economy that could have been created out of those jobs that we refuse to take? Now we've got a nursing shortage in the state of Florida. My wife just gave birth to our 3-month-old, but the nurse who prepped my wife for surgery traveled from Ponte Vedra Beach to Tallahassee over 3 hours away because we have a shortage of nurses in this state. That shouldn't be our problem. That should be our opportunity. But we have to rise to that challenge. President Obama tried to send us $1.3 billion to build high-speed rail to connect the population centers of this state, beginning in Tampa Bay and coming across from St. Pete over into Tampa and then downstate to Miami. We said, no, we don't believe in Obama's stimulus. What happened to that money? It went back to Washington, D.C. Never mind that Florida sends more money to D.C. than we bring down. It was our money, and it got dispersed to other states. I only point these out, y'all, because these are opportunity moments for our state. There's nothing wrong with the state of Florida that can't be fixed by what's in it. We can do that, but we have to have a governor that has a North Star for this state. And what you ought to know about me is that in my time in public service, now nearly 15 years, is that I've not backed down from a challenge. Not on the easy things and not on the hard things. I didn't back down when I first ran for city commission, and folks said I couldn't do it, and we won that race with 57% of the vote. Over 70% of the constituents being from a majority constituency, almost 70% white voters. They didn't think I could be elected, and we got elected. I got elected in a 4-way race for mayor 3 years ago with 78% of the vote, with a very similar constituency. So it's wholly possible, but you don't win unless you compete. And so we're competing. Because I'll tell you, as a Democrat, I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of losing in this state. For now 20 years, we've competed for the governor's mansion and have lost. These last 2 cycles where we competed, we came within 1 point of winning back the governor's mansion. You within 70,000 votes in a state of 20 million people. While young people, black and brown voters, poor voters, white working class voters, many of them stayed home, right? And what happens when we stay home? Yes, the politicians maybe that we like or whatever don't win, but the bigger consequence is that the things that we care about don't get heard. The leaders that we want to be able to make the decisions on the things we care about don't get to make those decisions. So if we're serious about having the issues that we care about tended to, we have to lean into that challenge. We have to be willing to get behind candidates that we believe in and work for them, right? And then hold them accountable once they get there. As the mayor of the city of Tallahassee, I've leaned into the challenge of climate change. I shared that with you. I've leaned into the challenge of creating a more equal and equitable society. When gay marriage was approved in this country by the Supreme Court, and we had county after county after county say that they would no longer issue marriage licenses, I said, come to Tallahassee, we'll marry you where we recognize that love is love. It wasn't easy at the time in the northern panhandle of this state. We did it. When this governor said that Syrian refugees were not welcomed in the state of Florida, never mind, the governor can't say who's welcomed and not welcomed in this state. It's federal policy. He took liberties, so I took liberties. And I said they're welcome in the city of Tallahassee. They're welcome in Florida's capital city. It wasn't easy, but our values matter when it's hard, not just when it's easy. When we stood up on behalf of immigrant rights in this state, because we recognize that our state is actually enriched by our diversity, it's not a threat, and that there's room for all of us to coexist and exist, and that we can actually be a much better state if we lean into that, versus deciding and dividing a room by this group and that group. Dissecting ourselves from one another based off of superficial barriers that don't mean anything. And now we got leaders at the federal level whose very politics is based off derision and division, who doesn't miss an opportunity to remind us about what's different about each other versus what we share in common. That's not the kind of leader that I want. That's certainly not the kind of leader that I have been, and that's not the kind of leader I would be if I were given the opportunity to serve this state as this governor. I'm hopeful for the future of this state. But it's not enough for me to be hopeful. We also have to have people, the population, the masses, to agree that we we deserve a better politics, and we deserve better leadership. And then to go out and to make that true by voting and being involved in the process. It's the only way I've ever known it. It's the only way I've ever tried to engage, is by being constructive in that engagement and not just complaining, but doing something about it. Not just tweeting about it, but going out and activating on it. And so I'm hoping that we can invite some of y'all and others into this process as we face the 2018 elections. And we do everything that we can to make sure that our voices are heard and that our politics reflect our values. And not just the values of an increasingly loud, it seems,